A Waiter from Hell by Jean Piret. Remember when eating out was a relaxing experience? Someone else cooked for you and cleaned up after you. All you had to do was chew, swallow and pay. No longer though. Today, you feel like a laboratory rat that has to struggle through a maze each time it wants a chunk of cheese. Good evening, the head waiter said. Table for four? Yes, thank you. Smoking or non? Non-smoking. Would you like to dine indoors or outdoors this evening? I guess indoors would be good. Very well, sir. Now, would you like to be seated in the main dining room, the enclosed patio, or our lovely solarium? Let me see. I can give you a lovely view in our lovely solarium. I think the solarium would be lovely, I said. We followed him there. Now, sir, would you like a view overlooking the golf course, the sunset on the lakes, or the majestic mountains to the west? Whatever you recommend, I said. Let him make a decision for a change, I thought. He sat us by a window, facing the golf course, the lakes, or the mountains. I couldn't tell which because it was dark outside. Then a young man, better dressed, better looking than any of us, presented himself at our table. Good evening, my name is Paul and I'll be your waiter this evening. Would you like to have a few minutes before I take your order? No, I said. I'm just a meat and a potatoes guy. Just bring me a meat and a steak. Soup or salad? Salad. We have a mixed green salad, okay? Whatever you recommend. Dressing or non? I didn't want to make any other decision. Whatever you got will be fine. We have creamy Italian blue cheese, vinaigrette, Thousand Island, honey Dijon ranch. Just bring me one. Surprise me. Creamy Italian is the house specialty. Would that be all right, sir? Yeah, I was caught. Enough of civility. And your baked potato? I knew what was coming next. I just want the potatoes dry. Don't you understand? I don't want anything on it. No butter? No. No sour cream? No. Don't you understand English? I just want the baked potato and a steak. Would you like to have the small, medium or large steak, sir? Whatever you say. Would you prefer the rare, medium well or well done steak? Or if you prefer, we can. Polly boy, I interrupted. You are really starting to get me steamed. Which brings up the vegetables, sir. Would you like to have steamed broccoli, cream cones, sauteed zucchini, diced carrots? That did it. I threw my napkin to the floor, stood up and looked him in his arrogant eyes. Would you like to settle this outside, huh? Fine with me, sir. Would you prefer the car park, the side alley, or the road in front of the restaurant? I prefer right here, I said, and punched him hard. He ducked and then countered a left hook right under my eye. It was the first time all night he hadn't offered me a selection. I collapsed semi-conscious into my chair as someone in the authority berated Polly. I felt my tie being loosened, my collar unbuttoned, hands slapping my face. When I regained my senses, I saw the very concerned head waiter right in front of my nose. He apologized and offered to buy me a drink, call the paramedics, or whatever I wanted. No, I said, I'll be fine. Just bring me a glass of water. Yes, sir, right away. Would you prefer imported mineral water, sparkling water, or club soda with a wedge of lime? The Pig by Roald Dahl. In England, once there lived a big and wonderfully clever pig. To everybody it was plain that Piggy had a massive brain. He worked out sums inside his head. There was no book that he hadn't read. He knew what made an airplane fly. He knew how engines worked and why. He knew all this. But in the end, One question drove him round the bend. He simply couldn't puzzle out what life was really all about. What was his reason for his birth? Why was he placed upon this earth? His giant brain went round and round. Alas, no answer could be found. Till suddenly, one wondrous night, all in a flash he saw the light. He jumped up like a ballet dancer and yelled, "By gum, I've got the answer! They want my bacon slice by slice to sell at a tremendous price. They want my juicy tender chops to put in all the butcher shops. They want my pork to make a roast, and that's the part I'll cost the most. They want my sausages in strings. They even want my chitterlings. The butcher shops, the carving knife. That is the reason for my life." Such thoughts as these are not designed to give a pig a great peace of mind. Next morning, in comes Farmer Bland, a pail of pig's will in his hand. And Piggy, with a mighty roar, bashes the farmer to the floor. Now comes a rather grisly bit, so let's not make too much of it. Except that you must understand that Piggy did eat Farmer Bland. He ate him up from head to toe, chewing the pieces nice and slow. It took an hour to reach the feet because there was so much to eat. And when he finished, the pig, of course, felt absolutely no remorse. Slowly scratched his brainy head and with a little smile he said, "I had a fairly powerful hunch that he might have me for his lunch. And so, because I feared the worst, I thought I'd better eat him first." An extract from A Question of Sex by Arnold Bennett. Strain! If you knew the strain that I've been bearing for the months past, haven't you noticed the dark rings under my eyes, the unnatural brightness of my arms, the hectic flush on my cheeks, the bald spot on the back of my head? Strain! My dear sister, I have a secret and a terrible woe, a woe which with courage worthy of an Englishman I've shared with none. May, I'm undone. I feared it for many weeks. Listen, 5 or 6 months ago, Uncle Francis said that if it was a son, he would settle a 10,000 pounds upon it. And if a daughter, he could coldly decline to consider a possibility of such a thing. You know the special brand of ass he is sometimes? I've shared with this nobody, not even to my wife, for I felt it would bury her. Imagine my condition of mind, my agonizing suspense. Do you wonder that I've been wakeful night after night? Do you wonder that from pure weariness and fatigue I should fall asleep this very afternoon of my undoing? Oh, May, to be a father is not so simple and pleasing as the superficial observer might fancy. extract from The Magic World by Edith Nesbit. He spends the afternoon sitting on the sofa in the dining room, listening to the conversation of his father and mother. It is said that listeners never hear any good of themselves. Morris heard so much that he was surprised and humbled. He heard his father say that he was a fine, courageous little chap, but he needed a severe lesson. He heard his mother say things that made his heart throb in his throat and the tears prick behind those green cat eyes of his. He had always thought his parents a little bit unjust. Now they did him so much more than justice that he felt quite small and mean inside his cat skin. "He's a dear, good, affectionate boy," said Mother. "It's only high spirits. Don't you think perhaps you were a little hard on him?" "It was for his own good," said Father. "Of course," said Mother. "But I can't bear to think of him at that dreadful school." Well, Father was beginning when Jane came in with the tea things on a clattering tray, whose sound made Morris tremble in every leg. Father and Mother began to talk about the weather. Morris felt very affectionately to both his parents. The natural way of showing this was to jump onto the sideboard and from there onto his father's shoulders. He landed there on his 4 padded feet, light as a feather. But Father was not so pleased. "Bother the cat," he cried. "Jane, put it out of the room." Morris was put out. How do you feel your performances went? What were you most pleased with? I think my performances went quite well, but one can never be satisfied with their own performance. So I would like to talk about my prose because I was most pleased with it. So I was first truly connected with it, with the characters. Like the waiter was asking so multiple questions to the customer, and it made a too confusing part for them. Then I love to binge on video references of how the waiter acts, and the author was frustrated, and my personal experiences too. Then I had to perform 2 different contrasting personalities. Like the one was the waiter, which was confident, and the other was the author, I mean the customer, which was angry on the waiter. Then I had to perform like the personality of the waiter, like how he was nice, elegant, confident about. Then on the other hand, the customer, which was very frustrated and angry with the waiter. So then choose one of your pieces and talk about how the characters or narrators' feelings changed. I would like to take my poem, which was The Pig. In the beginning, the pig was very confused, wondering about his purpose in his life. He was very demotivated, and he was thinking about how to save his own life. Then this confusion came into realization where he knew the purpose of his life, that was to turn into meat and was eaten by the farmer. So he was more demotivated by that. And then after that, in the end, all the tables turned. Means instead of farmer eating the pig ate the farmer. And he was so confident about himself that he did it, and he saved his life, and he was so proud of himself, and he was satisfied too. Describe the imaginary surroundings in one of your pieces. So the piece, I would take my prose, where it was a high-end restaurant. It was surrounded by majestic mountains, lakes, rivers, golf course, and alley too. The restaurant was very well lit. It had expensive luxuries kept as showpiece. Then it was really very beautiful. Then it had tables and chairs which was covered with silk cloths, and they had soft cushions too, and there was a soothing music and many people came with their families, enjoying with themselves and laughing. Yeah. What did you consider to be the funniest or the most dramatic moment in your pieces? What vocal or physical skills did you use to show that to the audience? I think the most funniest or the dramatic part was in my monologue, where George shares that Uncle Francis would settle £10,000 if it was a son, and if a daughter he could coldly decline to consider a possibility of such a thing. So it made a pivotal moment too. Then then George. Then George enacted like I enacted like George to get out worries and concerns for himself to his sister. Then there was a revealing, in fact, that I used a long pause to reveal it in the prose. Then I emphasized on the number 10,000 to make it more interesting and making it mine. Then I used hesitation also to make it more advanced, and my physical skills I used my hands into my hair to show more frustration. Then I used my space walking around to show more concerns of George to her sister. Yeah, these were my physical skills. Thank you.